Hello everyone, it's Ella here from Agnes Ruby Studio, and today I'm going to be making things with Tetra Paks again. I thought I'd show you this really cool embellishment. It's cool to put in your journals. I think it looks like those pressed metal tags, but it's just using Tetra Paks. And if you're familiar with Tetra Paks, your alternative milks, or you can get juice in Tetra Paks, or you can get stock or soup in Tetra Paks as well. And I love them. They're so cool because they've got a brushed metal sort of look, and they're a matte kind of finish. They're not too shiny, so they look great in vintage style junk journals. So today I'm just going to be leaving the Tetra Pak plain, because I like the brush metal look as it is. I think it looks really cool. And today we'll make one of these circles, and I'll show you how I did it, and I'll also show you some tips and tricks for making just plain little labels like this. So I'm using the nested dies by Sizzix. This is a Stampin' Up one, but Sizzix do these. They've got loads of different circles. You can get squares, you can get ovals, so you can use any shape you like. Today we're going to use the circles. I've also made ones with squares. This was the stitch shape squares and a slightly thicker border. And for the insides I've used book pages, and then embellished it just with a simple silhouette of a butterfly punch, which I think looks really cool. This one I have put the back on as the silver, but you could do them double-sided as well with a book page. These ones have got the silver on the back, and I've distressed just the edges with some archival ink. So let's get cracking. So first of all, I've taken some book page, and I have glued several sheets together just to make it a bit thicker and sturdier. I used matte medium, and a favourite of mine is Liquitex matte medium. You can get it in larger quantities quite cheaply. And then once they were glued together, I put them in between some gloss, some like baking paper, and then left them in a book to sort of flatten them out again. And so I've also used different techniques different distress techniques to age them up a bit. You could leave them plain as they are, of course, but if you want to get that more grungy look and feel, you can use your distress techniques for that. Now this one here, I just thought I'd show you. It is done just on the book page itself. And what that does is, because it's book page and not mixed media cardstock, it's going to soak up the ink and give a different effect. And this one here is also the same. I haven't sealed it or anything, and the Distress Oxide ink or the Distress ink will soak into the book page and give you this sort of dyed look. And the alternative to that is to seal the page first. Where's my other bit? Okay, so this one I have sealed with gesso, and so this is using exactly the same colour ink, but because I've sealed it with gesso, the ink has sat on top of the page rather than soaking in, and you've got a more intense colour. So this is the same colour. So I've used walnut stain, and then I've used some oxide ink with brushed corduroy on top of that, and the same with this one, and this is sealed with matte medium. So we've got clear gesso for that one, and then matte medium for this one. Because the book page has been sealed, the ink sits on top and you get a more intense colour, and also a little bit of texture, the raised texture from the ink edges as it's dried. And I think that looks really, really cool. So I'll quickly show you how I do the distressing. I'm sure you've seen it before, but I'll just quickly show you how I do it. I just use a a stamping block. This has got a nice smooth edge that you can clean up easily. If you have a glass mat, that would be perfect, or a media mat like my dirty grungy one is here, and I use that quite a bit too because I've got more surface, but it doesn't look so good in this camera, so we'll just use this. So obviously you're going to just smoosh the ink onto the mat and then take your spray and spray some water on it, and then you get these really cool droplets appearing. And now I have not sealed this side, so this is going to soak right in. So all I do is smoosh it in, and isn't that cool? You've got all these lovely droplets. And then I will dry that with my heat tool. And this one I have is sealed, so we'll show you what that looks like in comparison to this one. So this is just soaked into the paper because there's no matte medium on there or anything. This one I have sealed. Then I did my inking, and then I took it and ironed it because I wanted to reflatten the page, and then it took some of the ink off, so I want to do this one again anyway. And we've got some cool smushes there. Smash it through. And then the more you do this, the more you dry and ink, the more little inky pools you're going to get, and the better the effect. And the other one I want to do is the other side of my circle, because I haven't got anything on that side. Just want to use the last of that on my other side of my circle that I've cut out for the label that we're going to make. And that's just going to do that. You can also do some splatters over the top, would look really cool. And there's that. So you can dry that. And then we've got our circle, we'll put that away. Now for the Tetra Pak, all you're going to do is use your nested circle. I'm just going to cut a piece to size of that part of it. I'm going to need 2 of these. So I'm going to cut out 2. I'm using my Big Shot with the metal, with a magnetic platform, so I don't have to worry about placing it too much. It's going to pretty much stay where I put it. If you don't have a magnetic platform, you can of course tape that with some washi tape or something like that to keep it still while you're running it through. I like to go forwards and backwards, and then I will make another one, and then we will have 2 labels, or 2 frames rather. Okay, so now we've got 2 frames, 2 circles that we cut out of those frames to use for later. We've got the circle made out of the book page that I've distressed using the same size circle as the frames. You can also use your paper punches if you don't have a die cutting machine. I made that one with square punches, just punched out a small circle, small square first, and then lined it up with a bigger square punch and made that. The thing I like about using the Sizzix machine is that you get a little bit of a different sort of an edge, which is quite cool. And you can have the stitched stitched detail as well if you've got those dies. But you can use your paper punches, and you can use any punches that line up to make a frame that you like. So that's quite cool. So that's just another idea. So let's go ahead and make this one. All we're going to do is use a wet glue to glue these on. Now I have left the backing on because I wanted the dimension, and because I've got a shiny backing to the Tetra Pak, you need a glue that's going to stick well for that, and the one that is good for that is art glitter glue that pretty much sticks most things. I use it for most things, so it's a really good glue to use for this project. And if you use a fine tip glue bottle or one of these sort of icing bottles, it works really well. Just put on a tiny amount, less is good because you don't get so much seepage. And then I'm just going to place that on and squish it in with my fingers. I'm not going to worry about the glue because I'll tell you why later. Just get some seepage out because you need it to be, all the glue to be touching anyway, touching all of the edges. So I'm just going to squeeze that, squeeze that, squeeze that. I'm going to flip it over and do the other side. Next step will take care of any of that seepage. Now sometimes you might get a tiny little edge, and that is because you're working with different types of substrates. So your book page might end up being a tiny weeny bit bigger than your frames, even though you've used the same die. So you just need to hold this. Yeah, so even though you've used the same die, because you've used different substrates, they can end up just like a hair of a chinny chin, a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, whichever way around you're looking at it. Right, so I've got quite a bit of glue there, and what I'm going to do is just take a cloth and a spray of water. Because the metal is shiny, the glue is just going to come off the top if you don't leave it too long. Don't rub too hard, or otherwise you're going to be ungluing it from the page. And then I've just got that shiny metal without the glue on top of it. And don't forget, you've used distress, so you're going to get some of that distress coming off as well if you haven't sealed it before this step. So the one I made that I put in my book, I didn't distress, so I didn't have any of the distress coming over. It was just a tiny bit of glue. Right, so now we're going to leave that to dry. Keep pinching it as it dries. I'll leave that one to dry just a little bit, and then I'll show you what I did with these ones. So this one and this one, this is a really cute size to use for labels, but you could use the bigger size too. So let's do both of them. All I'm doing is using some glue. You could use hot glue as well. That would work really well and dry super fast. So I'm just putting the two of them together to make my faux metal tag. I don't know why I put glue on both of those sides. You only need one. Joy of filming. You get nervous even when you're sitting here talking to yourself. It's quite weird, but anyway, hopefully I'm making sense to you guys. Now I've got some glue seepage on there again, so I'm just going to wet my cloth again and take that off. Okay, so now I've got my faux metal tags. They're double-sided with the silver on both sides. I've glued that together using art glitter glue, and we've got the framed one with the book page inside, and it's made that double-sided so we can flip it over in a tag or have it on the edge of a journal page. Yeah, whatever you like. And it does take a little bit of time to dry because you're working with shiny surfaces, but once it's dry, it's pretty solid. It sticks there. Even the book page that I sealed takes a little bit of time to dry, which is kind of cool because you've got a little bit of extra time, wiggle room, a little bit of extra time to wiggle it around and get it in the right place. But then you're going to want to set it aside for maybe 10 minutes or more and get it kind of like super solid before you take the next step. Now, what I also have done on this one here is I bashed the edge with my craft hammer, and I've got a bit of board here just to protect my table, and you could use any old bit of wood or a chopping board or anything like that. And what I did was I just took the hammer to the edge to sort of seal it up a bit more and make it less, make that edge of the Tetra Pak less visible. So I'll show you on this one. And it's just sort of sealed it up a little tiny bit more, which is very good. Just wipe that excess glue off. And you could bash this up as much as you like. I just thought I'd just bash those edges just to sort of seal it in. And you could do it to this one too, but bearing in mind if you bash that down, you're going to lose the dimension of the frame. Right, so what are we going to do next, guys? We are going to figure out some sort of embellishment for this one. This one here I used a pressed flower. That one's got a bit more contrast, so you can see it a bit clearer. This one here I used the silhouette of a black silhouette, so I just punched a butterfly from black scrap cardstock, so we could do that. Or we could use a Tim Holtz saying or a word. I think I might just use a silhouette for that one. So I'll grab my butterfly punch. So I'm just going to punch a butterfly out of this. You could use pressed flowers, you could use anything you like. I'd love to see what you do if you do this idea, so be sure to tag me on Instagram or Facebook if you try out this idea. I would love to see all your variations. It'd be cool. And I'm just going to put that there and leave that as it is for now. I may do something else to it when I put it in the journal. So this one here I've used the Tim Holtz Small Talk stickers, and it's a sentence that I've cut up and it says today is full of possibilities. So that's a cool idea. In this one here I have punched an eyelet in it, and I think that's a cool detail as well. Now for the bigger one I would use a bigger hole with my crocodile. So I'll use the 3/4 inch hole. I'm going to line that up as best as I can with the edge. Punch the hole in that one, and then for the littler one I'll use the smaller sized punch. So I've got it, and you can leave it like that. It doesn't have to be embellished any further. You could take an eyelet, and if we want a silver on silver for the big one, could use that one, and then use the crocodile to squish that out. And for the other one, I haven't got any small silver ones, so I'll just use this antique sort of looking one. I'll set this up before so that's on the right setting. Just punch that down. And that's really cool. So we've got that one, and now I need to reset that one to the bigger bigger setting. Excuse the banging on the table there. Gotta use your strength to get that. So now we've got a metal label there, and I could use a bowl pin to clip that to a journal, or I could put some embroidery floss through that, or I could use some of the chain, metal chain. I don't know where it is right now, so I can't show you that, but that would be really cool. Ball chain, Tim Holtz ball chain. Just put that out the way, and then I'm going to grab a word from the Chit Chat stickers for these, and I think black would be the best idea. Find a little cool word. Okay, so maybe story could go on this one. Oh, inspire for the other one. Inspire, is it too big? I can just trim that with my scissors, it's a little bit big. Okay, so now I've got those two with words. I've got one plain to decorate later. I've got one with the butterfly. And I've got this one that I've showed you earlier, just using a pressed flower. And the other thing you can do, if you would like to, is just distress the edge. It just helps take any sort of cardboard that could be showing on the edge away. And you just use any permanent ink. I'm using black. And if you're very, very light with it, you won't be going over too much of the metal, or you could have just left it as it was, up to you. It's just another step that you could take if you want to. With these ones where I've bashed the edge, I don't think it's necessary, but it's just another step that you can take if you want to. Looks quite cool, I think, anyway. And then another thing you can do is put some shine onto it. Now you can seal these with matte medium if you would like to, but bearing in mind if you have used distress, you will take the distress ink off as soon as you put a wet brush to it, because it reacts with water or any wet medium. If you want to seal it, you after this stage you'll need to use a spray sealer, and then go back in with something, because these steps, if you've used distress, will disrupt the ink. Okay, I hope you know what I mean. Hopefully it makes sense. This one here I did seal with the matte medium, but I hadn't used any distress on those pages at all before I started, so it didn't disrupt my distress, if you know what I mean. The other thing you could try on this Tetra Pak is bringing some gloss into it if you like it glossy. You could use glossy accents. You just need to put that all over your piece and then let it to dry overnight. And if you want a quicker result, you could use, where's my piece? Okay, you could use embossing powder, clear embossing powder. So this piece I have put clear embossing powder over, and you could do that several times till you get your desired effect. And this one I used a clear nail polish, which is like a gel nail polish, and that brought some gloss to it too, and it dried pretty quickly. So there you go, guys, that's today's video. I hope you liked the ideas. I hope you liked the embellishment that you could use in your journal. I hope you give it a go, and if you do have any questions, please let me know in the comments. And speaking of comments, I really, really, really have appreciated all your comments, especially when I have been MIA. I'm wondering where I am and things like that. And yeah, if you did like the video, please like and subscribe. It's really, really appreciated. It really helps my channel grow. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.